Once again, inside NRG Stadium, our From the Field report after the Texans fall to the Broncos. Another one-score game. The Texans have had 5 of them. The Texans have lost 5 of them. They lose 18-15 to the Broncos this afternoon. Texans scored 5 times. The Broncos scored 3 times. But all the Texans' points came on field goals. Biggest thing to come out of this game is, unfortunately, who had to come out of this game, and that was C.J. Stroud at the end of their 3rd drive. He was scrambling and was on his way to the turf, the beginning of a quarterback slide, and he got absolutely crushed, bounced off the turf, hit his head, was down for an extended period of time. Players taking a knee, players on the field, including Broncos players, immediately asking for the assistance to come from the sideline. Ultimately, CJ walked off the field, gave a thumbs up to the crowd, went into the medical tent for about 2 to 3 minutes, then walked back to the Texans locker room. Shortly thereafter, early in the second half, they made the official announcement that he was out with a concussion. No further news on that front, but a team that struggled to put the ball in the end zone before this 8th game of the season, well, they struggled to put the ball in the end zone in this 8th game of the season. 4 times on their first 5 drives, 2 of those led by Davis Mills, they drove into field goal position. They made 3 of those 4 field goal attempts from Kaimi and had a 9-7 lead, but the plays that stand out the most from this game on the ones that were not made, the first 11 plays they had in the red zone netted 0 touchdowns, including 3 consecutive snaps, 1st and goal from the 1, a 4th and goal snap from the 1 that was not successful on a quarterback sneak, but then wiped out by penalty anyway because they had a false start, so ultimately on 4th and 6, they ended up kicking the field goal. But 1st and goal run up the middle, 2nd and goal run up the middle, 3rd and goal run up the middle. The absolute strength of the Broncos defense. I think you could say the absolute weakness of the Texans offense, certainly in the run game, is running behind their offensive line. They couldn't get a yard. They couldn't get points into the end zone. You'll hear from several players on the offensive side, most specifically Dalton Schultz, about the frustration of not being able to do that. Scoring field goals is great, but it is somewhat of a letdown knowing you're in position to put points on the board. They got into the red zone multiple times today and were 0 for the red zone. It's been the story of their season from a negative standpoint. This I couldn't believe, but I kept looking to make sure this was accurate. 14 drives in the game for the Broncos. They snapped the ball 1 time the entire game in the Texans red zone. It was the last snap of the game. It was on their field goal attempt that won the game for them. They never visited the Texans red zone the entire rest of the game. Both of their touchdowns were longer than 20 yards. They weren't doing a lot offensively, obviously, with the Texans staying in this game, despite not scoring a touchdown in the entire ball game this afternoon. So from inside the Texans locker room, what were they saying? We start with those on the offensive side, a couple of offensive linemen, their frustrations about not being able to punch it in, their reactions to how C.J. Stroud went down, Laken Tomlinson and Tae Ersery. Also hear from Jaylin Noel, Christian Kirk, and as I mentioned, Dalton Schultz. Very frustrated about the way things went, and obviously some thoughts about C.J. Stroud going down, giving the thumbs up to the fans, which obviously his teammates did get a little boost from, knowing he was at least able to walk off the field. And where things stand with this 3-5 football team, a trip inside the Texans locker room. Let's hear from their offense.
You got to go look at the film and see what was going on, but coach was just preaching the whole week. Everybody just do their job, so I was just out there trying to do my job. So we'll see.
Is the way you guys lost this one particularly frustrating? What are some of the reactions, emotions?
Yeah, it's tough, man. I mean, tough opponent, great defense. We knew that coming in here, and try to set ourselves up for to be in a great position to go out there and win. Kudos to them. They got it done.
Could have been 4-4. Does this feel like something like an opportunity squandered, like the one that got away?
Man, it's football, man. It's the National Football League, man. Everybody's good each week, week in, week out. We were just trying to come in this thing 1-0. We didn't, so we're trying to move on, look at the film, and get better.
Just the reaction when CJ went down, man. How tough is that to kind of see?
Man, I don't even want. It's frustrating, man. I don't even want to talk about it. Next question.
What do you think are some of the reasons that this team has kind of struggled to score in the red zone?
Honestly, I couldn't even answer that right now.
How did things change, if at all, once Davis got out there?
We knew Davis is still a good quarterback, no matter, situation. You know, he got out there and he did exactly what he was supposed to do. So our job was just go out there, protect him, open up holes for the running back. And I think he did. He still played a good game.
I mean, you know, still a lot of ball left. You know, got to look at the film and come back, have a great practice, and get better.
When CJ goes down, how tough is that on you guys emotionally? Did that, I don't know, affect anything, but just what was it like for you guys when that happens?
You know, obviously, you know, it's tough, but it's tough, you know. So, you know, I feel like Davis came in, did a great job for us, and you know,
Can you kind of take us through or explain the emotions that you're feeling? It looks like you're kind of holding back.
next man up.
My team that we felt like we could go out there and win a game and kind of make a statement. But I mean, when you're not on the details at all times, those things kind of happen. We kind of let them stay in the game all game. But of course, that's a good team, and they're going to find ways to make plays. So we just have to be disciplined and make plays when our name are called.
Speaking of that, it seems like your name wasn't called as much on offense. Is it kind of frustrating to not be a part of it today?
I mean, you always want to contribute. You always want to make plays, and I feel like I can make plays. But whatever the coaching staff feels like is best for the team, then I agree with them. And they're a great coaching staff. So whatever they want my role to be that day, I'm going to go with it.
Is there anything they're telling you that you need to do in order to consistently be out there?
No, I feel like Coach Ben does a great job at critiquing all his players and just holding us accountable and just making sure we're ready to go for the game. But on my end, I don't feel like I'm doing anything wrong.
But on the returns, what happened on the long return?
Oh, yeah, it was just a great call by Coach Ross, just setting up a good field return for us, and then a great job by all my blockers out there, just getting me in a position to be able to scurry up the sideline. So kudos to my teammates.
What changed, if anything, for the plays you were out there for once Davis got in the game?
Oh, no, nothing changed. Same game plan. Just trying to go attack when we can, and just wasn't there.
What was the feeling when CJ went down?
Horrible, obviously. You lose our leader of the team and see him down on the ground like that. You don't want to see anybody hurt, especially not your quarterback. So just seeing him down there, it sucked, but I spoke to him. He seems fine, and so I'm happy he's okay.
You know, this is one of the best led teams that I've been on. You know, in my 8 years, type of leaders, type of guys that we have. You know, in this building. You know, I don't sense any bit of wavering or flinching as to if CJ's out there or not. You know, obviously, he's the heart and soul of what we do. But it's on all of us to just focus on doing our job. Nobody has to do anything special because our best is good enough. So it's just being disciplined and just doing your job, and the rest will take care of itself.
Christian, the frustration of getting to the one field goal, then to the two and a field goal, man, what has to change in those situations for you guys offensively?
Yeah, I think it just comes down to execution and everybody, winning their one-on-one battles, especially in the red zone. Whether you're running the ball or you're passing the ball, usually, it's tight man coverage, and they're going to load the box. So it comes down to executing your job and winning your one-on-one battle. And we just didn't do that today, and it's obviously frustrating because you go back and you look at it. If we're able to punch it in, who knows what we're sitting here saying. Obviously, that's a great defense, good football team. That's what they do, and the reason why they're in the position they're in. So we got to be better knowing that and be able to punch the ball in.
The manner in which CJ left the game and was knocked out of the game is different than usual. How hard was it to get beyond that and keep going?
Well, I think just from experience and being in the league, obviously, watching one of your brothers go down like that, especially the quarterback, it's tough to see. But, the game goes on, and, you got to pick up from where you left off from. And, I know he would want nothing else but for us to, go out there and just keep executing and keep playing and try to get the win for him, which, we tried to do. But, going forward, we're just going to support him and, pray for him and, whoever's out there. We just got to, be better on offense and be able to help us win football games.
The way you came off the field and the thumbs up, was that helpful?
Sure. I mean, yeah, it was a big blow, and obviously the hit was tough to see. And so, for him to be able to get up, walk off on his own, and show everybody that he's all right, I think shows the strength and, shows, who he is as a person. And, I'm sure he'll be back in no time.
Executing in the red zone has been kind of the entire year. Like you talked about needing to execute, but kind of what needs to, give it that extra step that you kind of can push it forward and make those changes?
Yeah, I think schematically, I think we just have to keep, going back and, be critical of ourselves, when we turn on the tape. And like I said, you just have to look at areas where you can get better. Usually when things like that happen, you turn on the tape, kind of tells all. And we just have to be real brutally honest with each other. Is it an execution thing? What is it? And, I know everybody on offense, is going to look themselves in the mirror and, just, find ways to, get better to help us get the ball in the end zone.
You said you have a great group here in the locker room, but does it feel like you let one get away?
That's a good football team. In the NFL, that saying, it's you got to go win. Nobody's going to let you have it. And, if you wait around, somebody else is going to take it. So you just got to take it for what it is. Obviously, it's a tough loss, but we got Jacksonville coming in here next week, and they don't care if we won or lost. We got to show up ready to play.
Yeah, it sucks because, we scored 5 times. But we don't feel goals. It feels, I don't know, it doesn't give you the same sense of success when you end a drive with a field goal, especially that many times. I was saying earlier, their front is really good. They got a really good front, and we had an op at the 1 yard line to push it in, and they made those plays, and we didn't. So, I can't sit here and give you every reason exactly why, but I think that, we need to be able to execute in those moments, especially when we're right there knocking at the door.
You were just saying you think this team has it. Why
Absolutely.
do you feel like, especially offensively, you have it?
That's saying you have it. It's not like we have it now. We have it in us to turn it around and go forward. I think the guys respond the right way. We have the right group of guys around us. Everybody believes in each other. The coaches believe in each other. We believe in them. And at the end of the day, it sucks because you go in every week and it feels like we're all saying the same thing. It's so close, and I hate that. It's frustrating because it's just a couple things, a couple situations, 1 or 2 more scores in the red zone that aren't field goals, that are touchdowns. These things flip games dramatically. And again, like I was saying earlier too, you can't start freaking out and trying to do too much. It's just go back to your process, keep preparing, but turn it up, more focus, more intent. So I think for us, that's the biggest thing is make sure we're moving forward in the right way. We don't need a lot of extra, We have our process, stick to it, stay disciplined, stay consistent.
When you lose CJ emotionally, what does that do? How do you even get over that?
Huge leader of the team. That's my brother. It sucks seeing him go out. And we've had, in training camp, there was training camp practices that would get stopped because of an injury. And it feels like it happened more this year than anything else. And at the same time, it's yes, you have to acknowledge that your guy just went down. Your heart's hurt for him. But at the same time, it's we got to go play ball. It's a quick turnaround. It's not easy to do, but get back on the horse and we got a game to win.
That being said, when he gives a little thumbs up and walks off on his own, does that give you some feeling?
For sure.
Does it look bad when it?
No, 100%. I was right there. Obviously, his health is on everybody's mind. I'm glad he was able to get up and walk off. I saw him a little bit. I hope he's doing fine, but we'll see as the week goes.
So certainly a day where they did not reach 300 yards. They went 2 for 4 on third downs on the opening drive of the game. One of the third downs that was not successful. They extended the drive when they went for it on fourth down, and C.J. Stroud was able to quarterback sneak to success. So 2 for 4 on third down on the first drive of the game. They had 13 drives after that. They converted 1 third down on their 13 opportunities the rest of the game. And remember, after that opening drive, there were only 2 more drives for C.J. Stroud. The final 11 drives of the game were led by Davis Mills. The final 6 drives of the game all ended in punts. They only gained 3 first downs on the last 9 drives of the game. So simply not enough getting done offensively. I know the Broncos have a great defense. They played great defense, but the Texans have got to be a little bit better than that, no matter the defense, because quite honestly, their quarterbacks did have time to throw. I thought they did another nice job this week, like they did last week against San Francisco. Played a ton of tackle-eligible snaps, had British Brooks out there, had Harrison Bryant out there, had extra blockers for CJ and Davis Mills. And for the most part, they did have time to scan the field, find some targets, and try to move the ball down the field. They did not run the ball well. They did not have any running plays of better than 10 yards, and neither Woody Marks nor Nick Chubb found much success today. Woody Marks did leave the game briefly, went into the medical tent, but was able to return and finish the game. But again, very little success offensively, both running the ball and obviously not scoring any touchdowns today. Defensively, we've seen this before. Look back at the Tampa game right here at NRG Stadium in week 2. You're leading throughout much of the game. You're in position to win the game. You have an opportunity to win it, or at least in this case, maybe force overtime. And probably the two of the more successful drives of the game for Denver come late in the game. Forced a punt on the first of those two, but then the Texans gave the ball right back, and they were able to drive down the field. Bo Nix using his legs late in this game, put them in position, and they were able to kick a field goal on the final play of the game. Held this team under 200 yards of offense up until those final 2 drives of the game, and that's what their offense not doing much. The field position battle heavily in the Texans' favor. The turnover battle, well, the Texans didn't have any, and they were able to turn the Broncos over twice. Special teams picking up the muffed punt, and Kalen Bullock with a spectacular interception come all the way across the field on a ball that had just a little bit too much air underneath it. Story of the Broncos season was today. They go into the fourth quarter and have supreme confidence. They've come back and won multiple games. They did it again today. Last 17 minutes of the game, they shut out the Texans. They put up 11 points on the board. They converted that 2-point conversion after their second touchdown to tie the game at 15. They made the plays. The Texans didn't. The 5-1 score losses, that's the exact same story every single time. Can be won late in the game. Be nice not to be in that position throughout the game, but that's where the Texans are. Another good team, a 7-win team. Texans are left at 3-5. Go back inside the Texans locker room defensively to hear from Kamari Lassiter, Azeez Al-Shaair, Danielle Hunter, and Will Anderson Jr. And specifically with Azeez Al-Shaair, I knew he would obviously get to this. I knew it needed to be asked, and he went right into it. The hit on C.J. Stroud. He felt like he was in the exact same situation a year ago with the hit he had on Trevor Lawrence. Felt like the player today would be ejected. Said he talked to the player involved, and really is curious, I guess you could say, about how it was handled here on the field with no penalty flag being thrown, and how it was handled off the field a year ago with him, how the league tried to portray him. So some extended thoughts from Azeez Al-Shaair on the hit that sent CJ into concussion protocol and did not result in a penalty flag in today's loss to the Broncos. Inside the Texans locker room to hear from the defense.
Emotionally, as a team, you get so attached to these guys. Like, we spend a lot of time with each other. We laugh, we joke, we grind together, day in, day out for a long time. So just seeing one of the guys go down when it seemed very serious, like, he wasn't moving for a long time. So, man, everybody holding their breath. Everybody. But just to make sure that he's okay, he got up, he did his thumbs up. But still, it's just like you can't play the game off emotion. You can let the emotion fuel you. So you just have to kind of channel that. And I feel like that's something that, losing your quarterback is big, especially in the NFL. And, so, it definitely affected us, but that's not an excuse.
What's the frustration level that you guys got to be pretty much perfect in order to get a win in a game like that?
No frustration at all. Standard is standard. What more? Look, I got to look at myself in the mirror. What more can I do? That's what it is. I'm not frustrated with anybody but myself. I don't think anyone in this room is frustrated with anyone other than themselves, from offense, defense, coaching staff, anybody. What more can you do internally? Because it starts with yourself. I have to ask myself, did I play good enough to help us win the game? And whenever you can start being real with yourself, that's whenever we can take another step forward.
You guys did a lot of great things today defensively, man. What kind of happened on that last drive?
Quarterback got out. We were playing coverage. And I've been knowing Bo Nix. I've been playing against Bo Nix since college. So people forget that he's deceptive with his legs, and he just made a play. He made a play. He got out the pocket. He's fast. He got the yards that he needed to get his team to field goal range, and then they ended the game.
How tough is it to, when you look back over your loss record, so many close games, so many one-score games?
Yeah, it's very tough. But the reason that it's tough is because like you said, is one loss, or is so close. So that means it's 1 or 2 plays. So once again, you have to look internally at yourself and just be like, what am I doing to hold us back from making those 1 or 2 plays to help us win a game? So that's just what it boils down to. I mean, it's frustrating, but I mean, in the NFL, it comes down to every single detail. And today, we went on every single detail, and that's why we lost the game.
It's tough because obviously, it's a heavyweight fight, and that's a really, really, really good football team. They coach well, they play hard, and it was just a heavyweight fight, and that was just one of those late round just blows that just it can hurt you. And he's a really good player. He knows how to use his legs and throw the deep ball as well. He used his legs and made a play.
With all the accomplishments that Vance Joseph's defense came in, to this game, did it feel like, both defense were trying to make a, statement in terms of just, how dominant they could be in this game?
Man, I don't really ever care, who we playing against. We just, even with the team meetings and stuff, we always just talk about if we do us, it doesn't matter who we're playing against. It's just about us, playing to our standards. So, obviously you got 2 really, really high-powered defense and top-ranked defenses. So, yeah, when you go out there, I don't care if we're playing against the worst defense in the league or if we're playing up against the worst defense in the league. We want to play our best game regardless of who it is. But
Is there a frustration level with the fact that you guys feel like you guys got to be damn near perfect to win a game like this?
No, because I think the frustrating part is that you want to be perfect. I ain't never met nobody that wanted to get a 89 on the test instead of an A+. I want to be perfect. Everybody around us wants to be perfect. And I think in this league, if you have a mindset where it's like, I'm okay with a C, I'm okay with a B+, I'm okay with a B-, you just never know what it's going to take that week. And so you have to shoot for the sky every single time because you just never know. You could think, oh, this week, if we get a B+, that should be enough because that was good enough last week. You might need an A- this time. You just never know. So you always got to shoot for perfection, understanding you won't be perfect and just hoping that in the moments when you're not perfect, it's not a crucial moment.
At least how do you guys kind of deal with the record now at 3-5?
Same way we've been dealing with it every week. I'm not sorry to cut you off, but just to assume what you were about to say. The margin for error is slim. It was always slim. It's slim every single week. There was never a week where I looked and said, okay, we got some time, we got some space. I don't care. This is life or death every single week. It's a National Football League, so the mindset doesn't change. Obviously, when we talk about seedings and all this other stuff that starts to come into play towards December, November, December time football, that's playoff football. So it is eventually going to affect us. But all we can focus on is the week that we have.
How much were you guys cognizant to just how potent Bo Nix can be in the last quarter? Last week they had 33 points against the Giants. I think they have 4 straight walk-off wins or what have you, and just your overall impression of Bo Nix as a quarterback too.
Yeah, it wasn't really even a thing. Like I said, I think most of what we talked about was just us, us executing at a high level, us doing us better, regardless of who the player is that's out there, we got to execute. And obviously, like I said, earlier, he's a great player. He's a young player. He got juice. He got poise. You see the energy he plays with. The guys love playing with him and for him. And that's just the type of player that he is. So, all respect to him. And like I said, he made a play at a crucial moment in the game.
What were your thoughts when CJ got knocked out the way he did?
Yeah, the first thing, obviously last year, that was me. So the first thing I'm thinking is damn, it's a tough situation. I go up to the kid who made the hit, and I'm just hey, I was literally just there. You probably gonna get crucified. You probably gonna get kicked out the game, but just I just know who you are. Know that all that stuff that people are gonna say about you, if they do, it is what it is. That's not a reflection of who you are. Just go out there and play, clear your mind, don't think about it. Obviously, seeing CJ on the ground like that is tough, and it's just football. I know that kid wasn't trying to go out there and do that because I know I wasn't. But to see that there was, not only did he not get ejected, it was not even a flag. I think that frustrated me more than anything. Not because I wanted to see the kid get kicked out the game, but just knowing everything I just dealt with a year ago to where the NFL comes out and calls me this headhunter type player, and you don't even have a guy like that get a flag. I was blown away. It really shocked me. And maybe that's something that they learned from my play. Maybe that's why. And the ref did tell me because I asked him, but I genuinely was just questioning like what the hell was going on, like how did that happen or not happen. And he told me like, it's something that they were looking at changing this year to just see if there was contact to the head or neck area, and if it's a late slide, then they won't flag it, whatever. It just is what it is. So I guess in a certain way, I'm happy because it's like, okay, it's a bang bang play. It is a tough play. I hate that it was my quarterback that had to be the learning lesson of what not to do or what's not a penalty now. But I guess from a defensive player perspective, it's like, okay, I just hope that that's how we're officiating it. That's the league-wide thing, and that's a week-to-week thing that they uphold, because that can happen every single week.
They ruled it clean, though, just so you know. They said the hit was to the shoulder, so that's why.
Yeah, like I said, I just hope that that's how we do it every single week, and that's what we're doing.
You guys were having had a meeting in the locker room. What was the conversation you guys were talking about?
Typical post-game, just talking, me and Will, and D Hunt, and Rank. They usually talk back there in the shower, hiding away from y'all, but we just happen to have it right here, so it's just typical.
Yeah, we just gotta capitalize on our opportunities. Whenever it's time to cause a fumble or get an interception, we just have to capitalize on that. So the biggest thing is just going out there and then play fundamentally sound defense and make the least amount of mistakes that we can possibly make.
Dalton made a point about don't panic and don't act desperate. That was kind of the message he said he would give to younger players. As a vet, what's kind of your message about how you guys handle 3 and 5 with half the season gone?
And just stay focused. There's still a lot of football left. There's a lot of things that we can learn from, and just being able to just stay disciplined. Don't try and be Superman and try to do things that you've never done before. Just stick with the game plan and let the coaches do what they do, and the players are going to go out there and do what they do.
When you've had a couple of games go like this where it's close and it's been lost late, does it change when it's happened over and over again, or do you feel still the same as you did earlier in the year?
There's a lot that has changed. Mistakes that we used to make, we haven't made them. And guys, they're going out there and they're doing better when it's time for them to execute the game plan. But the biggest thing is we just have to capitalize on our opportunities when we're out there.
What do you think is the difference between you guys being where you want to be, being a winning team, being a playoff contender again, and being where you are right now?
And it's just the little things, man. Football is a game of inches, and win or lose, it's all decided by the little things.
Man, I think it's just coming down to execution, and I think the biggest thing is just discipline. Got to find a way to be more disciplined as a team. Our execution has to go up through the roof, you know what I'm saying? And it starts with our preparation throughout the week. And it's just that fine the little line between it during the week is just like, how much more can I execute? How much more can I be disciplined?
How tough was it to see one of your really good friends CJ Stroud go down like that?
Yeah, man, it was very unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? I think it was a BS call. We talk about protecting quarterbacks. CJ's a big name in this league. He's a quarterback that a lot of people love and watch, and we love him in here. And I hope we can get him back whenever we do. And we're just going to keep fighting for him, and yeah.
You mentioned preparation. Do you feel like something's missing with that during the week?
No, I just think when you go through a process and, as a pro athlete or just anything in a job, it's just always how much on it can you be in your job? How much more do you have to give in your job? And I think for us, we just got to keep looking ourselves in the mirror. It's like, how much more do we have to give? Why do we keep making the same mistakes? And I just think it just starts with our preparation of, are we really dialed in, and every man looking himself in the mirror?
Does it change your mind a bit being a BS call on C.J. Stroud when they ruled it clean since they had hit the shoulder and the contact wasn't above the shoulder?
Yeah, obviously you see the play, it still got hit in the head to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's whatever, man. It's the league. They're going to make the call. We just got to be able to play through the call. We just got to keep rallying. And really, it doesn't really matter what the ref called. We got to go out and execute, and we got to be the ones to make sure, it doesn't even get to that point. You know what I'm saying? So we got to do a better job as a team coming together and rallying together and keeping the main thing the main thing. And that's to win games.
Season, and you guys don't have the record that you would hope for heading into the year. There was a lot of hope about this team being a contender and taking it further than previous years. What do you think you guys need to do in the second half to try to put yourself in a position to do something?
I think every man got to look himself in the mirror and ask, am I doing my job to the best of my ability? You know what I'm saying? I think we have a squad. We got a locker room full of dogs, a lot of people that want to win, and a lot of people I say the same thing we used to say in college all the time. Nobody's going out there purposely messing up. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody's going out there purposely trying to blow a game. It's just how much more can we be locked in? How much more of level of focus can we have as a team in order to pull these games out?
Do you feel like it was just as far as not having focus all the way to like the very, very last second, because before the scramble that Bo Nix had for 25 yards, you guys did hold on third down.
Yeah.
You know, I think it was Pat Bryant and Evan Ingram before that.
Yeah, most definitely. You know, in those critical games, you know, that's what you're in the league for. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what you dream as a little kid, getting in situations like that. And I think that's when your level of focus have to go up. And we just got to keep being better in those situations.
How do you all bounce back from this and move on to Jacksonville?
It's the same thing, man. Get ready to come to work, watch the film, get better, and prepare. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not nothing drastically that we have to change as a team, man. It's just like those little fine things, you know, as a team that we have to find and get ready to improve on.
So that's where things stand for this 3-5 football team. Just about halfway through the season. The third of their 3 consecutive home games comes next week when Jacksonville visits. And the Texans obviously are running out of time. They're running out of cushion. They made the playoffs the last 2 years as the division champ with 7 losses. They have 5 losses. The division leader only has 2 losses. So there really isn't a whole lot of room for error. And what you saw at the end of this game quite likely is what you will see for at least the next week game, because of C.J. Stroud being in concussion protocol. It has happened in his career already. Having missed time for being in the concussion protocol, the more it happens, the more concerned you need to be. Again, it was nice to see him walk off the field, nice to see him give the thumbs up, but obviously this is just a pretty serious situation when it is your quarterback. So we will see what the week ahead is for the Texans, but the 8 games behind them have produced just 3 wins. Much more coming, as always, throughout the week on the A-Team, on Sports Talk 790, and of course via the simulcast on Space City Home Network.